You're watching Sci-Fi Journal!
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for June 2014. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Jay Kingston, and James Hinsey.
Yo.
Yay! We got a lot of cool stuff this month, including footage from Free Comic Book Day. We visited several shops and got some nice interviews and cool stuff. But we begin talking about the wonderful world of movies and a segment we like to call Popcorn Previews. Take it away, Jay.
All right, first up on our agenda is a movie called As Above, So Below, and it stars Perdita Weeks, Ben Feldman, and Ed Hodge, and tells the story of some young urban anthropologists who are exploring the catacombs beneath France to try to discover a hidden chamber and what that hidden chamber contains, and they inadvertently discover the gateway to hell. Ooh, I hate when that happens.
Oh, c'est pas bon ça.
Wow, that makes perfect sense. The gateway to hell is in France.
Of course. And now you know why Mark has that certain red glow about him. Let's take a look at that footage and you guys see what you think. It looks scary to me.
My name is Scarlett Marlowe, and I'm a student in urban archaeology.
370 feet beneath this point is a hidden chamber
That might contain a critical missing piece of our history.
How are we supposed to get down there?
Catacombs. There are 200 miles of tunnels right underneath our feet.
They're holding the remains of 6 million corpses.
Stop. This is the Empire of the Dead.
These are human bones. We go through here?
Let's do it.
Keep it slow and steady, yeah?
I think I'm stuck.
Just breathe with me, please. It's okay.
What was that?
Is everyone okay?
I think I am. What the hell do we do now, huh?
We can't go back. We should just keep moving. Tell me we didn't just go in a circle.
It's exactly the same.
No, everything's upside down.
What happened to the entrance?
Wait, there's something here.
Oh my god.
What the hell is this?
When I was a kid, we had a piano that looked exactly like this. I used to play it all the time. The A4 key was messed up.
What's going on? Can you read that?
According to mythology, that's the inscription over the gates of hell. And they shall be made to crawl on their bellies to enter the kingdom of darkness.
Did you hear that?
Is somebody there?
What's happening to us? Dad?
It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault!
if it looks scary to you, but then it must be scary.
Yeah, because not much scares me.
No, it is an awesome clip.
It does. It looks really good. I'm probably going to go see this one in the theater.
Yep.
Next, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which stars Megan Fox, Will Arnett, and William Fichtner, and tells the new. It's a new retelling of the story of the sewer-dwelling, crime-fighting mutant superheroes.
Right.
And their friend April O'Neil. So that's about all I can tell you about this one. So let's take a look at that footage.
Crime, violence, and fear have run rampant. Our great city is being destroyed. People want justice restored to this world. People want heroes, Miss O'Neill. But heroes are not born. They're created. That's what your father and I were trying to do. Create heroes.
No, whoa, chill. It's just a mask. See? Don't freak out. Right?
Who's directing that one? Said Michael Bay.
Well, produced by
Michael Bay is producing.
producing.
I don't think
Right.
he's directing,
Yeah.
but I don't know about this. The scope kind of looks good. I don't really like the way the turtles look.
Yeah, there's been some criticism about the way they look.
This might be box office bomb.
Yeah.
Well,
then it might not be. Who knows?
There's enough kids out there. It'll probably play to the kids. So
it could.
That's why they're doing it.
Yep.
It might.
And last but not least, we've got a new trailer for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, starring Andy Serkis and who else is in it?
Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, Jason Clarke. And this is, we've shown a clip for this before, but this one is worth seeing because it's a brand new clip and it looks awesome. So take it away.
Scientists in a lab. You can't blame the apes.
Who the hell else am I gonna blame? We need to give them a chance. Welcome, their animals. Please. I've seen things. I've seen the way they are. They want what we want to survive.
Caesar, home. This is your home. Your home.
Are you aware they are going to turn on you? They don't want a war. No! Don't shoot! Caesar, you have to go. Go. Where? Apes! Together! Strong! War, it's not what you want. There must be another way. War has already begun.
Word of advice? Stock up on bananas.
Yeah, the buzz for this movie is really starting to ramp up. They just hit a couple of viral videos, hit YouTube this week, which shows, because it's set like 10 years after the original. And it shows, like, I believe it was London, San Francisco, and New York, and how it deteriorated. You know, they did like a time lapse thing, and how those areas like deteriorated over time. And they're really starting to push this. This is going to be a good movie.
Right.
I'm looking forward to them continuing this Planet of the Apes story into the eventually getting to like maybe the far future.
Yes.
You know, and that'll be good to see.
It will be good. And
not for us, but good for the apes. Yeah.
Well, no, it could be neat. They may go with the whole integrated society thing instead of, you know, going at a war. They'll probably have a conflict first and then the integrated society. But that's all I've got for popcorn previews for this month. And now we go to a segment that we like to call Game Over with Calvin Watts.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, it being the summertime, there really isn't a whole lot going on with home video releases, and E3 is going to be ramping up, so we'll be pushing more of the video game stuff.
Is Microsoft even going to E3?
Actually, Nintendo's not really going to E3. Microsoft will be there, but we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit. Home video releases are kind of dead right now, but there is a sci-fi related thing I wanted to bring up. It has been announced over in Britain that the people, I believe it's ITV that has the rights to Space 1999. They've been working on high definition transfers for Blu-ray for season 2, because season 1's been out on Blu-ray for a while. But I guess the process, whatever cost cutting they did between the seasons, has affected the ability to get together the money to do it. So there's a chance that it might not ever come out on Blu-ray, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, that would be sad.
Just because I want to be a completist, even though the second season was pretty awful.
I love the second season.
What can they do on Blu-ray that you don't already see on regular DVD?
Season.
Just better, clearer. That's why everything comes out with, you know, a higher definition, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, more money.
Right.
So that's really about it. I'm sure when we get to like August and stuff, some of the early summer movies will be hitting, like Captain America and whatnot. That'll probably be out before we go back to school.
Yep.
That sort of thing. Also, back at the beginning of April, I said I was going to do my best to give you some coverage of PAX East. I was able to do so. Wasn't able to get everything that I wanted, but I got enough, and I had a really wonderful time. So I'm going to give you a little insight as to how much fun PAX East can be, and here is some of that footage. Well, I've been talking about this for a number of years. We are at PAX East 2014 at the Boston Convention and Exposition Center. I have told you time and time again how much fun I have coming here. As you may or may not know, for you new viewers, that the Penny Arcade Expo is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, video game convention in the country. I'm going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully you'll get a sense of just how fun PAX East is. We have a bunch of interviews lined up, and we're going to have a good time. So let's go and start. Now, I have to tell you, this is going to be one of the highlights of my trips to PAX East 2014. I've been talking about this for months. The Pinball Arcade, Far State Studios, and I'm here with Norman from Far State Studios to talk about what else? The Pinball Arcade. How you doing today?
Real good. This is a great show. It's an amazing show. How are the fans in New England treating you?
You know, everybody loves us. We only have fun at these places. We don't have any problems. We're giving away games this particular expo. We've already given away 650 of them.
Oh, wow.
And so we're giving away 4 free tables here right now, and people are just snapping them up.
As well they should. You know, I have talked about this for months. It's a really fun way to experience pinball. I mean, nothing will be like the real thing, but this is as close as you can get. It's been a really big weekend for you guys. As we are filming in the middle of April, High Speed, which is one of the most popular tables of all time, just came out for the Pinball Arcade. A lot of people were looking forward to that. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Well, High Speed is just one of those tables, Steve Ritchie table. It's an iconic table. There's a great lighting trick that we're doing in that particular table that translates across all platforms, and it's just beautiful looking and just a beautifully designed table. And you know, who doesn't like being chased by the police? I mean, really.
Absolutely. And also this weekend now, a lot of my viewers know that I play a lot of games on the 360, and the Pinball Arcade, due to circumstances beyond your control between the bankruptcy issues with Crave, it hasn't been on the 360 in some time, over a year. But I am happy to announce that that no longer is the problem. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, it's been a while, and you know, the joke that I always make is that people have no reason to believe us. Every year we've been saying it's done, we're going to be out soon, but we're working on the project now. The road is open for us, and so we're real happy about that. Xbox One is going to come out, 360 is going to come out really, really soon.
Yeah, and especially on the next gen side, I know eventually the PC will look like how detailed it looks with the lighting on the PlayStation 4. Now the Xbox One version will be basically, I assume, the same type of deal?
Absolutely. PS4, Xbox One, and then the PC version after we go to DX11 is just going to look beautiful. So those will be the 3 platforms that really have the visuals. But you can't take those into a dentist's office. You can't fly on an airplane and play pinball. So as much as I like the consoles, and I love them, they're great, most of the time I'm playing on an iPad because I'm flying to Boston. I'm waiting for my tires. So I like it on the mobiles a lot.
Yeah, one of the things I have to say, I'm really not a believer in having things for more than one platform. This is an exception. I have every table on my iPad, just like you, and I would have done it all on the 360, but now that I have an Xbox One, I'm probably going to wait for that. But you know, it's the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, I agree.
So one of the really cool things that's also going on right now, we talked a little bit about it last month at Pinball Arcade Fans, and this is one of the really cool things that I personally like about Farsight, is that they're running an actual poll, and it's an official poll. They've already done it once before last year, and right now, if you go to pinballarcadefans.com, you can vote for a future table to come into the Pinball Arcade. So the 3 right now that are up for, you know, selection are Earthshaker, Diner, and Cyclone, which are all good choices. Do you have a favorite out of those 3?
It would probably be Diner for me, and I believe that Diner is actually, it pulled out into the front, and I think Diner has probably stayed there, although I've been here and I haven't really looked to see what's going on, but I believe Diner is kind of going to be the clear winner there.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be seeing Diner sometime soon.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that Farsight announced at Christmas time was kind of like an add-on, like a side project called Pinball After Dark.
Yeah.
Any more news on that?
You know, not really. And here's there's a lot of things that we want to do. You know, we've talked about making possibly making a pinball construction set, Pinball After Dark. We're working on the cabinet build for the people who have the virtual cabinets. However, in the last few months, getting the tables out for season 2 for our PS4 users has been really a top priority. Getting our Xbox One launch out. So those are out of the way, and we can go back to those projects. But right now, there's nothing more to say about that except that we really want to do it. That's also going to require some licenses that we're going to have to get before we can do that. But there's some tables that we really can't bring out on the regular platforms that we really want to, and I think it'd be a great product.
Right, and that leads into, you know, probably the most requested table, Addams Family. You've done a couple of Kickstarters of some of those prohibitive licenses so far. been successful with all three, The Twilight Zone, Star Trek The Next Generation, Terminator 2. Any progress on that?
Nothing to say right now, but there are people working on it, and there are some licensing issues there. We have not given up on Adam's Family in any way, and so we're really hoping that we can launch a Kickstarter on that in the near future, real soon. We're hoping.
All right, now here's a question you may not be able to answer, but it is vague. We're right now halfway. We're halfway through season 3. Will there be a season 4?
Oh, we have every intention of doing a season 4. That's really up to the users. But right now, there's an enormous amount of wind at our back, and so there doesn't seem to be a reason we would not sail into season 4. We also have plans for season 5. I mean, we're going to keep planning, and if people keep buying the tables, we're going to keep making them. And there's a lot of tables in the world. We're just going to keep making them.
Well, that's good, because my final question is strictly for me, and for those of you who are at the Pinball Arcades forum, you know what's coming up. So don't shoot me in the heart. Tell me there's a possibility that Bonsai Run can make it into the Pinball Arcade. But be honest.
Be honest. There's no reason we couldn't do Bonsai Run. I'm a big fan of Bonsai Run. I've been trying to get that through. As I said, there's a lot of great tables. A lot of tables that we know our fans already want. So there's no reason we can't do Bonsai Run. Is it in one of the seasons coming up? Maybe.
I will take that answer, and I will be happy with it. Norman, thank you so much. I had a wonderful time with you. Hopefully you guys will come back next year.
Oh, I would like to, and I'm hoping that we go to Seattle as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
I really, really, really had a blast. And talking with the guys from Far State Studios, who are creators of the Pinball Arcade, was absolutely really, really fun.
From what studios?
Far Sight Studios.
Oh, I thought you said Prostate Studios.
Oh, okay.
Boy, you were really...
I honestly thought you said Prostate Studios. I was going to say, boy, they're really getting bad with their naming.
No, Far Sight Studios, located out in Big Bear, California.
Yep. Okay.
And the Pinball Arcade is one of the best games, in my opinion, out there. We've talked about it plenty of times, and we'll talk about it some more. Anyways, so... last but not least, we'll be heading into E3. We're taping in May for the June show, so probably July. E3 is a little bit earlier this year, like the first week in June. There'll be a lot of announcements. They've already announced the latest Call of Duty game, which looks okay. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And Kevin Spacey has a major role in it. So set in the near future, but we'll see. That's all I got.
And of course, E3 always has these crazy gadgets like corkscrews with headphones and stupid stuff like that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, go ahead, intro.
So, this being May, just last week, first Saturday in May is Free Comic Book Day. And for the past few years, we've been celebrating Free Comic Book Day by going to a bunch of the local or regional comic book stores, having some interviews, and basically having a good time. And this year was no exception, so here is some of that footage.
Hey everybody, it's Free Comic Book Day, May 3rd, 2014. We're starting out the day here at Wild Time Comics in Attleboro, South Attleboro.
Place to be.
Yeah.
Yes, South Attleboro. Yeah.
Yeah, South Attleboro. Right here on Washington Street, Washington Avenue.
Yep, it's Washington Street is Route 1, which is only a mile down the road from Pawtucket. So, you know, for all those people that feel they're going all the way up here in Mass, we're not that far. Really not.
Yeah, it's easy to get to. So what do you have today happening?
Oh, we have tons and tons of free comics. We have $1 posters, a ton of other free stuff, massive sale going on. We have a spin the wheel discount anywhere from minimum is 40, top end is 75% off anything in the store. So that's statues, that's models, that's whatever it applies to, the entire thing. So definitely come on down. We got a guy making balloon animals over here, professional balloon animal, Mr. Mad Hatter over there. We have our friend Tim, who's a local artist, and he's doing free sketches of his comic strip and stuff like that. So definitely come down and meet him. Well, you won't be coming down to meet him because you won't see this till afterwards, but hope you made it down here to meet him.
Yeah. Come next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, if he gets a great shout out from you guys, then he'll definitely be back, and we'll be having even a bigger, greater time every single year. It's been growing all the time.
Yep. And you're dressed up great this year. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm kind of a makeshift semi-Green Arrow. You know, we had fun. I made my own quiver here and all kind of fun stuff. And last year I was Thor, as you might have seen. And but we always enjoy getting dressed up and having a good time here. Anyone who wants to show up in costume, always a great thing. If we get enough people showing up in costume, hopefully we'll have a costume contest some year. That would be great.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Good. Thank you.
Jay reporting from Time Capsule South on Pontiac Avenue in Cranston. And as you can see, Free Comic Book Day is still going on, and it's a rousing success.
I got my free comic
You
book.
are such a geek. Get out of my face. Anyway, it's a rousing success. The place is packed. People are happy. It's just a great event. If you haven't gotten down to Free Comic Book Day, you really don't know what you're missing. You should come on into Time Capsule Comics. They're open several days during the week, and I believe they are open Monday through Saturday, maybe even Sunday. And they'll be sure to help you out with whatever comic book needs you have. If you can take a look around me, you can see that this place is just packed and going crazy with customers.
All right, another stop during Free Comic Book Day. We are at Rah-Cocos comic book shop in Providence, Rhode Island, and we found some great artists and writers here. This is Jim. Hi, Jim.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Can you introduce your clan over here, please?
Sure. This is R.K. Bentley, Andrew Lavolo, and that's Matt McGurk. And Matt's an artist. Andrew is an author and an artist. He's an author, and I'm an author.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your comic books and the work that you have, because you're signing and you're doing pictures and all this other stuff today. Okay.
I have a series called Hellion. It's a horror comic about a rock and roll band trying to become famous. And they basically have to deal with a manager who's got a reputation of being a devil worshiper.
Oh, all right.
So, and it starts in Salem, and it works its way on the seaboard. And then I'll leave to RK. He did Totems.
Okay.
And Totems is about a college artist who needs inspiration, so he summons up Indian spirit guys to help him get him through his artist block, and they're all screw-ups. And so kind of goes from there.
Okay, now which book are you drawing for?
I also write the Rift comic book. It's got vampires, werewolves, witches, and everything, and it takes place in and around Boston and Salem, Massachusetts, and it's about these four humans that get caught up in the struggle between two tribes of what we would call, vampires, witches, and werewolves.
Okay. Neat. Now, who's publishing for you?
Mine's QEW Publishing out of Seattle.
Right. And then who else?
We were self-published.
You're self-published?
I was self-published.
You're self-published also? Okay. And if someone were to want to get a hold of a copy of this, what's the best way for them to buy copies of your books?
For me, you can get it on Facebook. You can go to my page and we can send it to you, or you can Rah-Cocos. He ships to anybody who wants it.
Okay. Now, do you have a website or something? Or?
Yeah. Hellion Lives on Facebook.
Okay. All right. And what about the rest?
Cartoonfrolics.com, or you can go through Regan as well over at Rah-Cocos.
Okay.
Yep. You can go to Regan and GIstudios.com.
Okay. Now, Regan's really neat is that he really promotes a lot of the indie stuff for you guys too, which is kind of neat. Now, are you picking up issues for Free Comic Book Day this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which ones are your favorites?
Uber. I read Uber all the time. It's a great story.
All right. What about
I
yourself?
picked up Fred Perry's Steam Wars, which has really good art in it.
Okay.
I like Uber as well, because Kanan did a poster for us over here.
All right.
And I have to grab that DC Futures End.
Yeah, because the whole DC line, once again, they decided to switch everything, right? We used to have multiple Earths, then we had nothing, then we had one, then we had two. Now, who knows what the hell they're doing?
Multiple DCs.
Oh, it's crazy. It's really crazy. All right. So, good luck, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on your books. Much success. I hope you sell out of every copy you have. All right, sounds good. Now, let's go see what else we have for Free Comic Book Day. Calvin.
And now for a segment that we like to call Toob News. Take it away, Marc Morisseau.
All right, go get your snacks. Here we go. Time for Toob News. Sci-Fi Channel is trying to get rid of its image of being just a channel for schlocky movies and Sharknado and wrestling and all that stuff. They're moving on to other projects.
Except they're doing Sharknado 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Sharknado 2.
So, based on that, there's a bunch of stuff that they have in the works, and we'll give you some highlights about that. They have some Sci-Fi Channel series for 2014, 2015. First up is something called Pax Romana, based on Jonathan Hickman's graphic novel. It follows a special forces team that travels back in time to ancient Rome, and the future soldiers are trying to alter history in order to avoid World War III. So there's one series they're working on. They're also working on Ronin, which is based on Frank Miller's comic book series, which is kind of neat. They're doing something called Clone from Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead. It's based on a graphic novel and follows a retired soldier as he navigates a conspiracy centered on a secret biotech program. And it begins when he investigates his wife's kidnapping in a break-in perpetrated by his own quote, "Be very, very careful. We're hunting Klingons." All right. Then I tripped over my tooth on that one. Yes. Then there's another one called Letter 44, which is another graphic novel adaptation where newly elected President Stephen Blades receives a letter from his predecessor revealing a mission to the asteroid belt to investigate a secret alien construction project.
Stephen Blades?
Stephen Blades, that's the president's name. I didn't write this stuff, I'm just telling you. Then there's another series they're working on called Magicians, which is based on a book series by Lev Grossman, which I read, which is pretty well done. There's the Magicians and Magician's King. And think of it as Chronicles of Narnia meets Harry Potter with a college frat boy twist, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So they have set it up where it's a bunch of New York 20-somethings who study magic only to find that the magical world of fantasy that they read about in books is real and poses a threat to the Earth.
Plus the world in the books is real too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and they can go back and forth. Then there's a 10-episode space adventure coming up next year called Killjoys, which follows a trio of interplanetary bounty hunters who chase down deadly warrants in a system on the brink of a bloody and interplanetary class war.
So it's Dog the Bounty Hunter in space.
Exactly, yes. They're also working on an online series called Underlings. A workplace comedy brings viewers into a criminal organization, and the web series stars Joseph Gatt from Game of Thrones and Jessica Chobot from Attack of the Show. So that's cool. All right, let's see. Other stuff. We have to mention rest in peace Bob Hoskins, who passed away on April 29th, 2014 at the age of 71. His film credits include Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Brazil in 1985. He had a role in Hook and many, many others. He was nominated for an Oscar for his role in Mona Lisa back in 1986. So God bless Bob Hoskins. I think we mentioned about this before. There's a bunch of series that have been canceled. Almost Human was canceled by Fox.
I thought you were going to say Almost Useless.
Almost Useless? It is useless. I was thinking about Fox at the same time. It's been canceled by Fox because it was on Fox. So kiss that show goodbye. And I think we just learned that Revolution on NBC.
The Revolution is over.
Is over. That one was canceled as well, which is too bad. I enjoyed that series.
Which is only the one mid-season replacement kind of thing.
Right.
J.J. Abrams isn't having a good week in television.
No, Believe, I don't know.
But that's all right. I think he's doing something right now. So
yeah, a couple of things as well. Patrick Stewart is going to be in a new Starz sitcom called Blunt Talk. He plays a British journalist called Walter Blunt. Why can't I speak today? Excuse me while I stroke out. Okay.
You haven't had your coffee.
Actually, I did. I had like 12 cups. That's probably what it is. He plays a British journalist called Walter Blunt on a mission to conquer American cable news by inflicting his unwanted wisdom on his dysfunctional staff. So it kind of sounds like Frasier to me.
Larry King?
Oh, Larry King.
No, there was a British reporter who does all those like tabloid type things.
Right.
He got fired, didn't he? Or there was another one.
I think he did. Oh, yeah.
Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan, yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
Or the other guy who did the Michael Jackson expose thing.
That type of thing. But anyway, so Patrick Stewart has got a new gig. He'll be doing that sometime on Starz, if you have Starz. sometime in 2015, right? And that's all I have this month for Toob News. Let's move on to the wonderful world of anime with a segment we call Anime Daisuki. Go, James, go!
So, Anime Daisuki this month, I just want to talk a little bit about Anime Boston.
Can you talk while I move?
And last month I showed some footage of Anime Boston, but I didn't really talk about it. So, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We had a concert with Jam Project, which is about 5 different artists who play together as Jam Project, and then they have their own individual careers as music makers for different animated and video game shows. And so I just want to say, hey, if you really want to go to an anime convention, Anime Boston is right in our backyard. And then coming up next month is Kineticon, which has also got a lot of cosplay and anime and all kinds of other things. And we usually go there, so we'll try to be there again next month. And then I went to the Southern New England Quidditch Conference tournament, which was held at Wellesley College up in Massachusetts. And they had 9 teams from the conference compete for the championship. This year, Brandeis was the champion.
Oh, wow. All right.
Right. And they're one of the more experienced teams. They've been around for several years. And I've got some interviews with some of the different teams. And so here's this video.
So today we have the 9 SNEQC teams from, this year they're from Massachusetts and Rhode Island, coming together to compete after a year of essentially pool play, playing each other on weekly matches. They've come together and today is completely bracket play. It's a double elimination bracket. We also have George Killian today. He's one of our snitches. He's from the Providence College team that started this semester, and they're going to be joining the conference along with Boston Riot next year.
Anyways, so yeah, it's been a good season. I'll be talking more at the end, but I just want to thank you guys all for putting up with us and the weather. It sucked, but you know, we got through most of the season. We only missed a couple games, so just thank you for a great season, and may the best team win.
Rooms down, eyes closed. So, shut them. Snitches released.
Bye, Snitch.
Yay, Clark!
Alright, so UMass Quidditch was founded in about 2004. We're one of the first original 8 teams. Every year we tend to qualify at regionals, Northeastern regionals. This year was in Rochester for the World Cup. We go down the World Cup. There we're usually like a middle tier team, and we don't really stack up well against the bigger teams. We just try to have fun.
Alright, well, we're a community team. We are one of 3 community teams in Massachusetts, I believe. We've all been friends for a long time. Some of us have been, I met through school and asked them to come join, and I met them through a camp, and we've all kind of stuck together and thought it'd be a fun idea to come out and create a team.
The Wellesley Quidditch team was founded 4 years ago, my first year, when I was the first year here at Wellesley College. Our founding board committee was 4 people, myself, Claire Merrill, Naomi Takaki, and Kat Zhang. And between the 4 of us, we developed the Wellesley Quidditch team. Originally we only had exactly 7 members, but over the team we've grown, so this semester we have about 12, when everybody's at practice, which is really exciting.
But yeah, we just started as a small group. We put up flyers around our campus and gathered our friends. We started with groups like 6 to 8, and we would play down at India Point Park, which is a short walk to and from the Brown campus where most of our members are from. However, that walk feels longer when at the time the bases for our hoops were like buckets of concrete. We lugged them to and fro. So that was quite the workout for our shoulders and back.
Cool. So Brandeis started its Quidditch team in 2010, and back then it was more of like an intramural, like kind of a low-level casual club sport. Since then we picked up and now we're an official team. We've got a full roster. In the fall we usually have around 30 or 35 people, which is pretty good. We lose a few in the spring, but we've been growing over the past couple of years. We've been getting better.
Alright, so this is our second competitive year, the end of our second competitive year. We've been around for technically 3 years. The first year we mostly just kind of scrimmaged ourselves, learned the game. Adam Falk is the person who officially started the team, but the year I was elected president, which was the second year, was when we became official. When we joined the conference, when we started playing other schools.
Basically, like I said, we started back in 2011. Just some people that want to get a Quidditch team going. We officially were part of EQA, but we didn't feel like we were at the level needed to compete at that level.
Our Quidditch team has been around for like 3 years now, officially. We've really been playing with the IQA official for 2 years. Our Quidditch team is, how to describe them? They are hardworking, they're ambitious, want to win all the time, they just want to, and they try their best at everything. I couldn't ask for anything more. They're just so funny.
It's now in its 4th year. Our founding members are now seniors, and I'm a sophomore. I started playing last fall because, you know, I wanted to keep playing a sport. I played in volleyball in high school, and I thought Quidditch was awesome.
Good to have Quidditch for the part 1.
It is. We're the judges at Brandeis, and so our Quidditch team is the Wizzing-em-up, because that's like the wizarding judge line or something like that. So yeah, that's how we got our mascot.
Originally we were called Camps. This is our first year. We've been a team for 3 years, but this is our first year under the name of North Shore Nor'easter. I thought the name was fitting because of even this past winter has been crazy, all the nor'easters we've been through.
We just this year finally voted on an official name because until this point we've just been Clark University Quidditch. There was a lot of fighting about people who wanted very specific names, but we put it up to a vote and we are now the Raven Clarks.
The Quidditch team itself is the Whomping Welsleys, which we decided upon the first year, but it took us several years to first get constituted by the college, so we are recognized as a club, and then this past semester we got PE credit, so you can take Quidditch and fulfill your part of your PE requirement for Wellesley.
Oh, a mascot is a Minotaur, and at World Cup we actually brought a little Minotaur head, and we usually have to get like kids involved, so we had like a little 7-year-old run around with a little Minotaur hat and scare people. And our logo just kind of faded on me, but it's just 2 broomsticks crossing. It's been there since the beginning, so since I've become in charge, I haven't had the nerve to change it because of just history. We came here today because we're one of the better teams here. It's like commonly agreed, and we're trying to win our first tournament. So that's pretty exciting, and we just recently joined the SNEQC conference, which is what this tournament's for.
I see big things for SNEQC. We finally have a budget. With Coco Cup this past winter, we were able to get a couple $100 saved up, so we'll be reinvesting that to a bigger, better place, since a lot of people really seemed to love that last year.
In the past, this is our first year in SNEQC, the Southern New England Quidditch Conference, and we are enjoying it immensely. Get to play lots of games. We have lots of game time, which is exciting.
I love the SNEQC conference. The teams are fantastic. It's a lot of competition. Like our side, like nothing's too weighted in one direction. There's like one team that's really good, but you know that's UMass. But then like for the most part, all the other teams are on par, so it's not. So games can go anyway. It's really exciting, and everyone's just lovely.
Coming into this tournament, we've clicked pretty well, especially last week against URI. We had our full team together for the first time in a while through different complications, and we clicked and came together and had just an outstanding day. So coming into the tournament, we've felt pretty confident.
Oh, the conference is kind of my favorite thing to have happened while I've been here, because before it existed, it was up to the teams to, you know, schedule everything, and now we have games like all the time, and it feels a lot more like the school recognizes us as a real sport when we're doing this, as opposed to they'd be like, wait, what are you doing today? So
it's super awesome. We think there's a nice range of teams, but on the whole, it's a very good competitive level. We just had a tough matchup with North Shore, where they had super athletic chasers, but it seemed like our leaders were doing really well, so we had like a nice matchup of different strengths.
We found this conference, and we've been there since, I believe, 2012, and we're really enjoying it, and we look forward to continuing being part of it.
IC is definitely growing. We're going to be actually kind of taking a step back and going back to tri-meets next year. That way our teams are have more time in order to go to other tournaments, play other teams outside of the conference. We've been trying to promote inter-conference, inter-team play outside of the conference, but between the weather and scheduling and trying to reschedule, it hasn't left the teams with much time.
And since we joined SNEQC, especially, now we've got regular games, which is great. Yeah, we're hoping to go to World Cup next year, maybe, and hopefully maybe win the championship today. So
a lot of the teams are really pushing it. There's a lot of teams at the top that are just vying for that top spot. So I'm really excited for next year. I mean, I'm not going to be here, but I know for a fact I'm leaving. This conference is being left in very capable hands. Thomas Walsh, I know he's going to do a great job as commissioner. So I'm really excited to see where SNEQC goes, even if I'm not going to be here.
Clark, are you ready? Brooms down, eyes closed. The snitches release. Let's go! Talk to someone about how the snitches. Brooms up! Just come on.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to some more free comic book day footage with Calvin at the Time Capsule in Seekonk. So here we go.
So we are at our next stop on our long travels of Comic Book Day, Free Comic Book Day 2014, and we are at my home base, the Time Capsule in Seekonk, over near Seekonk Speedway, Fall River Avenue, otherwise known as Route 6. And a person who runs this place, again, is Jeff. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, keeping busy.
Busy, busy, busy. So, anything stand out for you today for the free comics?
There were a few. The big one is the DC Future's End book, which basically sets the stage for their event their weekly comic going forward for the next year, which will go forward in time, back in time, introduce Batman Beyond into the normal DC continuity, tie that all together, and I'm sure a bunch of other surprises, culminating pretty much in September with the release of another round of 3D cover books that tie into everything.
Really, really nice. Comics and in general, especially with the media stuff, has really been more popular than ever. You got all the Marvel movies. You have, 3 or 4 this year alone, and now DC seems to be ramping up stuff, and there's superheroes all over the place. It should be a good thing, but do you think it can be too much of a good thing and the saturation will kill it?
Oh, absolutely. I've already started to see a little bit of a negative response in pop culture, talk shows, things like that, where people will crack jokes about, no more superhero movies, this and that. So there's already a bit of oversaturation going on. Some of the projects going forward concern me. Guardians of the Galaxy, for one, is very divisive. People are either looking forward to it as this great thing, or people like me looking at it and going, I'm going to wait till that comes out on video. Ant-Man is kind of baffling. Great B-list character, A-list movie headliner, a little confusing. Very excited for Doctor Strange, though, which some people would also say is a B-list, but I happen to like Doctor Strange. People are kind of confused about what's going on with the second Superman movie because they keep delaying it, adding more heroes into it. Is it going to be a Justice League movie? Nobody really seems to know. Everything's kind of muddy. So in that regard, yeah, it can be a little risky going forward. But comic book sales-wise have dipped a little bit off this year from last year, but there was a big gain last year, so it all pretty much balances out. And the year's still pretty young, and there's other events going forward, which will rev up the engine.
Now, of course, outside of the big, Marvel and DC, you always have a ton of independent stuff, and there are some real gems that you can find, if whatever genre you're looking for. Anything that you've been reading that you can recommend?
On the indie front, Still going. One of my favorite books is The Sixth Gun, which is a supernatural western by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt, which actually is ending at issue 50. So that's going to be a nice, complete arc. People can just keep reading and rereading over the next few years. Stray Bullets is back, which is one of the all-time great crime comics ever done by Dave Lapham. He's finally back in print. How many years was it? 14 years or something? So they just released a giant Uber Alice edition that collected all the 41 issues of the first run, and then he started off a second run. Image has really been knocking it out of the park. They're not really indie. They're one of the top 5 publishers, but they have been just racking up hit after hit with stuff like Black Science, Manifest Destiny, of course Walking Dead, which everybody knows about. So, and also Terry Moore's Rachel Rising is another big one of my favorite books that more people should be reading so it doesn't disappear off the rack.
All right, Terry Moore, Strangers in Paradise. Now you have my attention. So talk a little bit more about Rachel Rising.
Rachel Rising is a mystery horror book. A lot of supernatural stuff going on with witchcraft and reincarnation and just bizarre stuff every issue. It's really, really something. Terry Moore's been stretching out a lot in the past few years. Strangers in Paradise was pretty much straight up soap opera, probably the best soap opera ever in comics. He followed that up a few years ago with a book called Echo, which combined some of those soap opera character elements with a sci-fi story and action. And then he wrapped that up and went to Rachel Rising, which is him stretching his horror muscles. He's really been pushing himself creatively and producing some of the best books out there that nobody's reading. Got to get on those.
One of the really great things, as I'm going to close this out, is that Time Capsule and Seekonk, and you can talk to Jeff. He's very knowledgeable about his stuff. You come in on even Wednesday is new comics, so it's really busy. But on a day where it's not so busy, you can sit here and talk for hours about all sorts of stuff, and it's really great to engage in conversation and just have a lot of fun. So, anyways, thank you very much again.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming down. All the free press is great. Woo!
Back to the studio.
Okay, Jay, you ready? It's time for toys, props, and other
stuff. Now drop and give me 20.
Okay, first up, there we have the Jetsons car. That's a Hot Wheels product that I picked up in the toy store the other day. Pretty cool stuff, okay? And in the middle, who's going to talk about Yamato?
It is Space Battleship Yamato, a U.S. release, a bona fide United States release of the Japanese movie that has been out for like 3 or 4 years now.
Yahoo!
You can get very cheap.
English language version.
English language, also Japanese language with English subtitles if you want to watch it the real way.
Fabulous film. I just saw it last week.
Yes.
I want to see it. Oh, yeah. Bring it tonight to the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. And then, there's Life on Mars, which is the British version of that very popular television show.
The original version.
The original version, which is good. Worth checking out.
One of the games I really need to get back to, and I will finish it this summer, is Lego Marvel Superheroes. This is the Xbox 360 version, also available on like the Wii U and the PS3 and the PS4 and the Xbox One. But it's a Lego game. Almost all of the Lego games are universally good. Looking forward to finishing it.
Good. Yep. And in the middle we have a Pops figure, an Andorian from Star Trek, the original series. That's my favorite alien in the whole Star Trek universe.
And you picked that up on Free Comic Book Day.
I picked it up on Free Comic Book Day, yep. And then what else do we have, Jay? On the end, Son of Batman.
Yep, Son of Batman, the latest release from DC Animation, which is really doing some fabulous, fabulous stuff. So this is a great film. I suggest you go out immediately and buy it and watch it.
Yep, and we were talking about how DC should stick to their animated DVDs and not even worry about doing live action stuff.
That's not going to happen.
I know, but they do a much better job with their animated DVDs like this one. Okay, all right, we got a bunch of stuff here. If you want to get in touch with us, our website is www.risfc.org, Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. We have YouTube channel. If you can't watch us on Rhode Island Public Access, you can catch us on YouTube. We have Facebook pages. Rhode Island Science Fiction Club meets on a monthly basis. And James, talk a little bit about donations for PEG Media for Sci-Fi Journal.
So, you know, our show is sort of syndicated around the country now, too. So we just got picked up in Alabama.
Ooh.
Yep. And
welcome, Alabama.
Yep. And then there's Michigan and Iowa. We're all over the country now, in a bunch of different places. But it kind of costs a lot. Not cost too much, but for downloading the show. So we support the show through out of our own pockets. And but we have a donate button on our website. If you want to donate, you know, a couple here, a couple there, it'll help cover all those downloads for those other places, so they don't have to worry about it. And if you want to do that, you can just go to our website. Yep.
And click on
the donate button right there.
Under Sci-Fi Journal.
Under Sci-Fi Journal.
Okay.
We have, I'd like to thank Richard, who donated last month. We put his name in the credits, and thank you very much. He's been a long-time viewer. And he even has his own show called Sci-Fi Science Fiction Fandom.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's good too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be it. Oh, I'm sorry. Any shout-outs before we go?
A special shout out to Norman and Mike from Farsight Studios. I really had a wonderful time interviewing them at PAX East.
Yep.
Really, really awesome guys. Really fun, down to earth, easy to get along to. You got to check out this game. Go to Pinball Arcade forum for Pinball Arcade fans. I can't stress enough how fun that is.
Yeah, but we also want to shout out special thank yous to Wild Time Comics and Time Capsule Comics and Rah-Cocos, all those stores that let us interview people for a free comic book day. It's very much appreciated.
And a special shout out to the False Face Society for being just a group of fun guys who are doing the same thing that they do every year, and they do it so well.
Yep, very good.
And for their intro for our show.
Yes, they do that every year. That's kind of neat. All right, that's going to be it for this June. I'm sorry.
We're going to be in TerraCon. We'll be at TerraCon.
We hope to be at TerraCon.
We hope to be at TerraCon. We hope to be at Connecticut. If you see us around, come up and say hello.
Yep. And give us snacks, because we really like it. Okay. That's going to be it for this June 2014 edition of Sci-Fi Journal. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next month. Bye. Bum, bum.